Before the arenas, before the awards.
This is b4Nashville Live. Have a question for a guest? Send it to us via Messenger.
Here's your host.
All right, I'm trying to figure out how to push what buttons and what buttons go where, so bear with me here. We're getting into it. Welcome to Before Nashville. Tonight I have a special guest. She is a young lady. She's a Canadian country singer, and she's got quite a long list of accolades, and so you're really going to enjoy this tonight. So please help me welcome Nayana. Nayana, how are you?
Hello.
Awesome. So,
George, I
how's
don't
it
think
going?
the audio is working for you.
Is the audio not working for me? What happened to my audio here?
You're right.
Hang on.
George, I don't think the audio is working on your mic anymore.
Oh, great. All right. Hang on just a second. Let me see if we can bring that back up. Let's see. Should be working there. It's not working there.
It's sounding like it's like slowing you down. And you're talking like almost like a monster. Like with
Oh
a
my
filter
gosh.
on there.
All right. Is that any better? Or are we still
Let's
doing
see.
the whole monster thing, or
Is his normal? Yeah? Oh, for me, it's like so my parents are saying you sound perfectly fine, but for me, you sound like a slowed down monster.
it's that time difference. We figured out that there's a time difference, so
Nice.
I'm delayed an hour.
Okay, I'm gonna try to leave it and I'll come right back in, okay?
All right. You gotta love technology. It's always fun. I don't know why it does that, but it does. But we'll get it all figured out here and get everybody going. Let's see. And see if we can't figure out what we got going on here. That things are not working right. Just bear with us. There's Nayana back with us. We're gonna put her on.
Oh my
And
goodness.
let's
We
try
are back.
this. I'm gonna mess with their heads for a minute, okay?
Alright.
Is that any better?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly now.
Okay. All right. Sometimes that happens. It's like a disconnect. It's called the internet and technology, and quite honestly, it's a terrible thing. Um, Nayana's joining us from Canada, so it's I don't think it's anything. It's just weird. I mean, it just happens. So
Yeah.
I've had some issues in the past, and I've been working on them. I think I got them figured out. We're going to find out tonight. And start off with Nayana. Tell me first off, kind of where you're at and what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm currently 19 years old. So I was just in university. I graduated high school like a year ago, 2 years ago now, year and a half. But I've loved country music for as long as I can remember. So I started taking guitar lessons when I was, I think, 11 years old, singing lessons when I was 9. Before that, I did, piano and everything when I was much younger. But a couple years ago, I won a competition which won me kind of a record deal just based out of Ottawa, and which is where I'm from. And after that, I was able to actually start recording music and releasing and like really getting into the scene, which is what I always wanted to do. I just didn't really know how. So yeah, I started posting videos on TikTok, and one of my songs kind of caught on, and now I'm here. I think that's how you found me too, probably from one of my songs that got popular on there. But yeah, that's me.
Well, and yeah, it is. It's actually I found you on TikTok, and you were
Yeah.
talking about your new single, which we're going to talk about that here in just a bit. But I mean, how old were you when you got into doing music?
So when I really started going out and kind of performing around Ottawa and writing my own songs that I would share with everyone, I was probably about 13 or 12 years old. So I've been doing it for a few years now. And just, I mean, in the past few years, other than COVID, like I've really tried in like when we weren't in lockdown, because we're still in lockdown right now. Like you can't
Right.
go to a restaurant here or anything. But when we're not in lockdown, like I'm instantly trying to get out places, book some shows and just kind of spread my music with anyone I can.
Right. So you're 19. You said you graduated high school year and a half, 2 years ago, so around there. You're
Mhm.
going to the university now, correct?
Yeah, so actually this semester, just this January, I ended up deferring because I really wanted to focus on music. So I used to split myself three ways between music, school, and work. Now I'm splitting myself between music and my job during the day.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you're one of those. I mean, and with the way COVID's done, and it's kind of like you said, shut everything down. In Canada, I mean,
Yeah.
I know I have some friends that are in Canada, and they tell me, hey, we're still, in lockdown. I don't even think you guys can send mail across the border right now. It is so
No.
bad. It
Yeah,
is
no,
ridiculous. Um,
it's crazy. It's crazy over here,
but
but
who were some of the influences that, some of the artists you listened to growing up?
okay, well, I feel like this is a very kind of generic answer for someone my age starting up in music, but when I don't even know how old I was, very, very little. My neighbor dropped off a bag of her old clothes. She was older than me, and I always got to take her hand-me-downs. And
Right,
inside that bag of clothes was Taylor Swift's very, very first CD, self-titled Taylor Swift, that she wrote when she was how old, like 14 or something.
right.
And that was kind of my first introduction to like that sort of music. I played it, I instantly loved it, instantly fell in love with Taylor Swift, and it was kind of after that moment that I was like, man, I want to be Taylor Swift. And that's completely like she's what got me into music. She's what got me into playing guitar, writing, everything. It's literally all Taylor Swift.
So a lot of your songs now, I've heard a few of them. So are your songs kind of, do they have that Swiftonian flair to them, where they're written about, some boy that broke your heart, and so you want to do like a pictures to burn type of thing?
Well, it's actually funny because I've gone through a few different phases. Obviously, I've been writing since I was like 11, 12, and, you know, I went through phases where I was like, "Yeah, like, I'm not gonna write about boys, like, I'm gonna write inspiring songs and songs about this or whatever," and then I did go through my heartbreak phase where it's all about one boy, and I got, like, 100 songs out of it, but
Wow.
I think a lot of the ones that I release, yeah, those are the heartbreaker songs.
He's gonna be hitting you up for royalties if you release all of those, because there's gonna be several
Yeah.
albums just about him.
Well, it's funny, we're friends now, and that's the first thing he said to me. He's like, "So I listened to the songs, like, when am I getting my cut?"
Wh-
Yeah.
when do I get my itsy bitsy teeny weeny slice of that pie?
Yeah. He's like, "I remember when I said that exact line to you, and you put it in the song, so"
Yeah. Sorry, it's not copyrighted. I can use it. That's what you tell him.
Yeah.
That is too funny. And
Mm.
so you're growing up and you've got Taylor Swift that you're listening to. What are your friends thinking about you as you're going up through high school and you're doing the music thing? I mean, playing and learning. Were you playing out at that time?
Yeah, so I've always been very, like, open and, like, I have always loved to share my music. I think I posted my first YouTube video when I was 12 years old with my original song. My dad
Mhm.
was recording with his thumb in the camera the entire time because we had no clue how to use it. And, my friends have always been very, very supportive, they would always come out and watch me play at my little recitals and everything. When I was younger, though, so 12 years old, there's a TV show that used to be just out of Canada, it's on YTV called The Next Star, and
Mhm.
it was kind of one of my childhood dreams to get a golden ticket on The Next Star, so I auditioned 3 years in a row, and on the 3rd year, I got a golden ticket, so that was kind of my way in to get, like, everyone at my school, like, "Oh my gosh, this girl was on TV," and, it was just a kids show, like a kids singing competition, but I think after that, everyone kind of welcomed it with open arms and, was really supportive because they kinda saw me and thought, "Oh, that's kinda cool."
Right.
But, yeah.
So that's kind of compared to American Idol in the US. You get the golden ticket, when you go to Hollywood, and they've got Luke Bryan and Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie. I had to think of his name. I'm old enough to remember his music, but I can't remember names very well. And so you're on that now. Here's one of the interesting things, and I'm just going to run through this real quick for people that may not know. Okay, 2014, you got the Golden Star ticket. 2016, you won the Williamstown Fair Talent Competition. Now, keep up with this, okay? So y'all be writing this down because you're going to need this at the end of the show when we do the pop quiz. 2017, the Rise to Fame Talent Competition winner. 2018 Richmond Fair competition artist competition winner. I'm running out of breath. The True North Country Indie Road Top 20 for Unsaid. That was one of the singles that you had out. 2019 NROC Got Talent winner. And then in 2019, you won the One Artist Ontario winner, which kind of gave you that record deal and helped you with your career with some things, which was really awesome. I mean, and that's just a few of the highlights that you've had. So 2014, you would have been, what, 13, 14 at that time?
If that was Next Star, it was when I was 12 that I was on there. So
12. Okay. Wow. So since 12 years old, you've had an amazing, I guess, career start by being on all these shows and winning all these competitions. Is that something you ever thought you would be able to do when you were like 11 and wrote your first song? Did you ever think, I'm going to have all these competitions I'm going to win and all these accolades that I'm going to have, and that's going to boost my career? Did that thought ever cross your mind as, an 11-year-old before you got into it?
Well, you know what? I didn't even realize that there was such a long list. It sounds like such a long list until you just said that. I didn't even realize. But yeah, no, I mean, I remember going to so many different competitions where I wouldn't win. They were just things like local around Ontario or Ottawa, and I wouldn't win. I wouldn't place, and then I remember the times where I would win and I would be so shocked and I would just think, wow, like lucky me, can't believe they picked me this time. So even now it's like I look back and it doesn't really like I guess stand out to me that like wow, there is a pretty long list of things that managed to do
Right.
there. But I mean it's funny, there's a competition I think you said on there that I won a few years ago back when, I was not expecting anything like a lot of people there, were a lot more had a lot more experience than me, everything. And I went back, like I think it was this summer, to the same competition. And then, I kind of thought in my head, oh yeah, I have a lot more experience. It seems these kids are really young. I mean, I'm young, but they were younger than me. And I'm
Right.
sitting there and once again I didn't even place. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it just depends. But I mean, I feel very grateful for the ones I was able to get. And especially, I mean, the last one that I did not expect at all, and it's given me so many opportunities. I mean, you found me from a song that I did with Young, Wild, and Free Records, which is the
Mhm.
label I got signed to from that competition. So, I mean,
Right.
that winning that was really the big kind of, I'd say, life changer for me and what's helping me now build my career.
Right. So, with this, I mean, this was like an Ontario wide artist competition,
hmm
and you may, um, I guess Ontario is um, I'm trying to think. It's kind of like a state, but it's not called a state. It's a
Yeah,
territory,
it's a province. Yeah.
a province. Okay.
hmm
So it's not a small area. It's not like 20, 30, 40,000. Well, people. It's much larger than that, correct?
Yeah, Ontario is very, very big. I mean, I'm not very good at geography, but cities inside of Ontario, like it's Toronto, it's Ottawa, it's all the big ones. So
Right. That's all we need to know because that anything past Ottawa, you probably lost me anyway.
Toronto, you got to
Um,
know
yeah,
Toronto.
I know Toronto, I know Ottawa, I know
Yeah.
Saskatchewan, and that may be another province. That may not
Yeah,
even be a
that's a
city.
different province.
So see, you can tell my Canadian geography grade was not very good.
Mine's even worse. Honestly, that might be a territory. I outside of Ontario, I'm not really all there.
So have you ever thought about going to Nashville?
Yes, I have. When I was 13 years old, I don't know how much you know about Taylor Swift, but 13 was kind of like the big number in her life, her lucky number.
Right.
You know, she does a lot of stuff revolved around that number. And when I was 13, I finally convinced my parents on our way home from Florida to stop in Nashville for a night. When I was 13 years old, I haven't been able to go back since, but I
Mhm.
went there and I just kind of I was a guest like sitting in not playing or anything at Bluebird Cafe, went, down the strip, saw the Grand Ole Opry, best time of my life. And yeah, now I'm 19, haven't been back. I did want to go. I think it was about a year ago.
Mhm.
And then COVID. So I mean, I haven't gotten the
Right.
opportunity, but definitely want to get to Nashville as soon as possible.
Now, one of the other things that you got the record deal with the Young Wild and Free record label, and that also got you on like um, Sirius XM, the CBC Country, which is the Canadian country.
Yeah,
And
so
believe it or not, that is one of the presets in my truck on my Sirius XM.
oh, is it really?
I listen to
That's
that a
cool.
lot.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, like, it was really cool. So, it was my first single release that we did. The song was called "Pretty Good to Be Here," and it's one that I, just wrote in my bedroom and,
Mhm.
about the same boy when we were together, actually. So, that one was a love story. But, yeah, I mean, so we decided to put it out to radio, see if what they thought of it. It was the first one that we were actually gonna try to push, so it could have easily gotten thrown away. But yeah, they picked it up and it got played on a few stations around Canada, in Toronto and Halifax, which I thought was really cool. A station there, like, featured me as their, like, hot new artist, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting anything like that, so, I mean, I'm very proud of how that song did for sure.
Right, and then Canada's got, the CMAs, which is the Canadian Music Association, right? I
Yes.
think it's CCMAs, Canadian
CCMAs, yeah.
Country Music Association,
Mhm.
and then there's also this, the CMAs, which is the Country Music Association here in the States, and, have you had any like, have you got to attend the CCMAs at any point, or is that maybe a goal that you have to not only attend, but and I don't know how they have that set up, but, like, as a new artist and they feature you on stage or something like that?
Yeah, so, they actually just passed in, I think, November. It was in London, Ontario. You would not know where that is.
Yeah.
But it's probably about 5 hours from where I live, and I wanted to go so badly. I mean, I wasn't contacted to join or be a part of anything, but I wanted to go so badly, and, I was ready to drop, like, $600, which I don't really have, but I was ready to drop $600 to get, like, the VIP to be able to go in there, kinda look like I was somebody when really I was
Uh-huh.
kinda nobody. Um, but anyway, I decided not to do that, and my goal of this year is to be invited to the CCMAs or, be featured in something like a pre-show that they have before, or I mean, if I can push my music hard enough to actually, be in the CCMAs, we'll see, but that is, like, my ultimate goal of the year. So it's funny you asked me that because on my vision board, like, that is my big goal this year.
That's awesome, though. I mean, it's great to have those huge goals like that. And quite honestly, from looking at the accomplishments that you've had since 2014, it is not unattainable whatsoever. I mean,
Thank you.
and you've got, I mean, the music that I've listened to, some of the songs that you have on Spotify, and let me bring that up here real quick because just a quick check of something as soon as I get logged in here. Um, of course, it's going to tell me something went wrong. Let's see, you've got 4 songs out right now that are on Spotify, including
Yeah.
the new one. You've got Pretty Good to Be Here, which is a 2020 release. Uh, Pretty good amount of listeners on that one. And then you've got This Mess Is Mine. You got about, and this is just Spotify. This is not including all the streaming networks. And so
Mm.
I have to remind people of that. I don't have all the numbers. But on Spotify, you've got 5,500 on This Mess Is Mine, Santa Baby, which I did not hear, which I love.
Yeah, that's just a cover, a Christmas cover.
And it's a great cover. I mean, I just like Kelly Pickler's version is the one I really like. She does a
Mm.
great job on that. And I haven't listened to yours, so I'm not comparing yours to hers because I haven't heard it yet. But I mean, let's see, your monthly listeners right now on Spotify alone are 20,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, that's for just, 4 singles out. That's really good just on Spotify. And like I said, I don't know what the others bring, but your music is good. I love the new song. We're going to play that here for them in just a little bit, and then we'll talk about the backstory about where it came from and stuff like that. But as you're going through, okay, you starting out writing at 11 years old. How has your writing progressed from then to now? What would you say are the things that you have been able to strengthen on or learned that have strengthened your songs?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. I mean, I definitely started out, um, the topics were, of course, I was a lot younger, so just general about best friends and stuff. Something I've really tried to do now, which I mean, nobody would really notice, but I'm not super big into, like, actually rhyming, but I like to use lyrics that sound like they go together and stuff, but they're not actually rhyming like cat and hat, if that makes sense.
Right,
So I try to be
right,
a little more technical with it, and I don't know, I just find, like I mean, I have so many songs that I wanna release and that I'm going to release, and right now, I mean, there's 3 on there that are my own, but, um
right.
a lot of people tell me, and I mean, I feel like I'm pretty mature, but in reality, I am 19, which is not very old. But I find the topics that I'm able to write about now, they've just really matured. Whether it's things I've learned from my parents or my grandparents, I find I'm pretty like I can't even think of my own words. How can I write a song? But I can pretty well put it into a song, even if I haven't experienced it, which just makes it sound like there's like a lot of wisdom that can come from people older than me. So the fact that I can
Right.
kind of articulate it back into a song, I don't know. I think I've just grown a lot in that aspect.
That's really good because I mean, you always want to go forward and I mean, you're right. At 11 years old, you're thinking about, your best friends or, playing, on the playground at school or stuff like that, and making up some song about the terrible lunch that you had at school that day or something along those lines. I mean, um, but do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Yes, I do. The first one that I wrote that was like an actual song, it was called Old Park Bench, and that's the one I put on YouTube. Oddly enough, I think I might have hidden it now, but I still have it, on my YouTube, in like the private setting. And it got, I want to say like 20K views maybe, like little
Wow.
12-year-old me. Um, I'm not sure I'll be pulling that video back out, but yeah, it was called Old Park Bench. And like sometimes my parents or my family, like if I'm at a show where, it's a super fun vibe and I can just kind of say whatever, do whatever, they'll scream out, "Oh, play Old Park Bench." Like, and I'm like, "Oh," like I played it once or twice in the past year. So, but yeah, I mean, honestly, looking back, it's not a bad song at all. I'm honestly impressed with myself, that I could write that so
Right.
young, but yeah.
Do you ever go back and look at that video and look at yourself now and again see the progression that you've made? I mean, for one, I mean, naturally you're older, you're more mature, you've gotten to the point where, your writing is showing both of those factors. But do you ever just look at it and just like watch it as an outsider? I mean, that is probably very hard to do. But like I work in radio during the day and I've got a bunch of old tapes that I recorded when I was first getting in radio. And I listen to those from like time to very distant time, like every 5 years. And I go, who is that guy?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
whenever I look back at it, I mean, I completely see myself. It's actually this same wall, except it's covered in Taylor Swift posters. I think we got one or two of One Direction on there as well. I have, a huge gap in my teeth as wide as can be. My hair is curly and messy. Um, and, like, it my face, I mean, apart from the big gap in the hair, I do look pretty similar, and even my voice, I feel like if you heard it, you would know it's me. It's just so much, tinier and I guess high pitch. But I feel like, like I look at that and I see like me, like that's where I started.
Is that a song that you've ever thought about going back and actually recording, like a studio recording with Jason, your producer, or somebody, like that, and just kind of revisiting maybe, you know, I don't know the lyrics, so I can't say change them up, but and maybe you don't even want to. You may want to leave it like it is, but just record it in a professional studio setting.
You know what? The song, if I had to compare it, it would be like the very, very early days of like Miley Cyrus or Taylor Swift. Except, just a little bit younger. But
Mhm.
I don't think I'd ever record that one. I think that one was just meant to be with little me and kind of stay down there. But I mean, honestly, like even just the video, I'm sure one day, if I can make something more of my music and everything, I'll pull it out for everyone to just kinda have a laugh at and and look back on.
Right. And you said sometimes people, and maybe this is just family, they'll ask you to sing the song. Do you ever get that like in your shows where people have known you and they'll say, "Oh, play Old Park Bench."
Well, lucky for me, a lot of people that come to my shows, I mean, of course, there's people I don't know or people that have kinda just saw me one day and just kept on coming back, but a lot of the
Mhm.
times, like, it's my dad's really close friends or my friends and family, so, if I'm up there and they're asking for encore, they'll tell me which song they wanna hear, which is nice. Yeah.
Oh, and so, I mean, you've got, kind of, a unique voice. It's, and I just like the way that it comes across. It's, when we listen to the new song, and this is funny, um, because the title of the new song is called "Now I'm Drunk." So we're going to listen to that in a minute, and we'll talk about the backstory because people may be wondering, you know, uh, did this, is this did this happen
Oh my gosh. Okay,
or not?
disclaimer though, don't forget, I live in Canada, so I'm 19 years old, but the legal age here is 19, and if I take
Right.
a trip 10 minutes away from my house to Quebec, it's 18. So
Yeah.
we are all legal here.
Just to let you know, dad's on.
Yeah, I know, and they can probably hear me from the other room
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. He gave us a breakdown that it's approximately 15 million people in Ontario, Canada. I can't
Oh,
even
he's
count
giving us the
15 million.
facts.
Yeah, I can't even count to 15 million. So I don't. I mean, I'm in a town of 30,000. So
Oh, wow.
it's kind of it's a small town compared to most.
Mhm.
But so and the song is called "Now I'm Drunk."
Mhm.
And we're gonna give them we're gonna play that. We'll let folks hear it, let them enjoy it, and then we'll come
Alright.
back and we'll talk about it, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, and we'll do this as soon as I give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Go Tuners. They are a go-to tuner for professional and amateur musicians alike. Their technology is green you're in, red you're out. You can check them out at gogotuners.com. Also, Heart to Heart Coffee. It's a coffee that gives back. It's a veteran-owned business, and they give 15% of your purchase back to a charity of your choice. Heart, the number two, heartcoffee.com. You can check them out there. Civies Apparel. They take retired military uniforms and incorporate that into all their apparel. And it is in very high demand. Trust me, I tried to order some and they're always out. And, but it's great, great apparel, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, beanies. Go check them out at civiesapparel.com, worn by heroes and made with respect. And also, uh, Three Rangers whiskey, and it's a whiskey that was developed by Three Rangers, Army. Well, it was developed by Army Rangers for Three Rangers, which are Rangers past, present, and future. So be sure to check them out. So enough of that. Let's get on to business at hand. This is Nayana, and Now I'm Drunk on Before Nashville.
Today I didn't do a thing. I just sat here to think. I grabbed a glass and poured a drink. Remembered all our memories, and it hurt like hell. You know damn well that I drank another round of whiskey, took a shot so it would hit me. It went down a little too easy. But next time that you see me, I'll be playing this old guitar on every stage and every bar, singing about how you broke my heart. But now I'm drunk and it's not as hard. They took Morgan Wallen off the radio, so I bought his album from the corner store. It's his songs that mean the most, like trying to put a band-aid on a bullet hole. It hurts like hell. You know damn well that I drank another round of whiskey, took a shot so it would hit me. It went down a little too easy. But the next time that you see me, I'll be playing this old guitar on every stage and every bar, singing about how you broke my heart. But now I'm drunk and it's not as hard. You can worry about your problems, don't you worry about mine. Oh, I'll be feeling real good, getting tipsy all the time. Yeah, I drank another round of whiskey, took a shot so it would hit me. It went down a little too easy. But the next time that you see me, I'll be playing this old guitar on every stage and every bar, singing about how you broke my heart. But now I'm drunk and it's not as hard. Yeah, now I'm drunk and it's not as hard. But now I'm drunk and it's not as hard. Yeah, now I'm drunk and it's not as hard. Now I'm drunk and it's not as hard.
That's Nayana, and it's called Now I'm Drunk. Now, okay, I'm going to tell you, I've listened to the song several times, don't get me wrong, but I haven't listened to it in the studio. I haven't listened to it with headphones on. It's generally in my truck when I'm going to and from work, and I have about a 35-minute commute. So I haven't really heard a lot of the nuances in the song, but your voice is not the voice of a 19-year-old. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And I said this earlier. I mean, you think about when you were 11 writing songs to now, and just the maturity, and your voice is so mature and it sounds so amazing. It's so smooth. It's just like that drink of whiskey you're talking about in the song. And, it just goes down easy. I mean, that's the way it is. It's very, very good, very smooth and relaxing. And the song itself is awesome. I love the song. And, like I said, I've been listening to it quite a bit of late. I don't know how many of those streams that are on there, are mine, but
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'm hoping not half of those 204,000, but it might be pretty close to half.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you.
So where did the song itself come from? How did you come up with that now I'm drunk and talking about taking another shot of whiskey and it going down smooth and all that.
Oh.
Tell me the backstory on the song.
All right. Well, when I play this one at a live show or, something like that, I usually say, guys, it's just a song, but let's have fun, whatever. But I'll tell you the real story of how this one came around. So basically, I was sitting just over there looking out my window one day, and I decided I'm going to write a song. And I did have a drink sitting on the counter or on the table. And I mean, the first line is, "Today I didn't do a thing. I just sat here to think, grabbed a glass, poured a drink." That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I was doing, so I
Okay.
wrote it down. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, kind of follow. So, when I turned 19, we were in a huge lockdown, and, it was kind of a thing. I don't know what was happening in the States with everything, but here was kind of a thing that, on the weekends or something, you would FaceTime your friends, and you'd have a FaceTime party. So you would drink together, act as you would as if you were together, but like you play cards on FaceTime or something. So,
Okay.
you know, so it was a fun time back then. I don't know what we were thinking, but anyway, so I kind of just used, what we were going through, just, randomly drinking, taking a shot. And like my goal was to be singing on stages, at bars all the time. And I couldn't do it yet, but one day I was going to. So, I mean, everything that was going on, I just put it right into the song, basically. So,
Right.
I mean, I didn't have to do much thinking to write this one. I kind of just wrote down what was going on. But yeah, and then the second verse, I know it was a little controversial on TikTok, which is one of the reasons that it kind of blew up. But throughout that time, Morgan Wallen had released an album,
Mhm.
and I mean, it was all about heartbreak and things like that. And that's what I listened to get over my breakup, and it really helped
Right.
me. So I thought, I'll add it in the song because that's what I'm listening to now. That's kind of what's getting me through everything. So Band-Aid on a bullet hole, that's exactly how it felt. And yeah, I just ran with it, and people seem to like it. So yeah.
Well, it's interesting because you're talking about FaceTiming your friends and stuff like that. Now, I don't know. I'm a couple of years older than you are, and so it's like I probably have socks older than you are. That's the sad
Oh
part
my
about it.
goodness.
But I mean, I never heard of any of the young folks around here doing the FaceTiming and things like that. And they may have, they just did it with their friends, and so they didn't like publicize it or anything. But when you were talking about writing the song and talking about being on stage, and it came during COVID when you guys were in, I guess that would have been like your major lockdown 1.0,
Yeah.
because y'all had several. I mean, you've had like two, I think you may be in your third one now.
I'm pretty sure this is our fourth major lockdown. Yeah.
Wow. So you guys have, you've had some upgrades since then. And,
Yeah.
um, but I mean, one of the things that a lot of artists did down here, and you may have seen this. I mean, I'm sure Facebook is no different. Facebook is Facebook. It doesn't matter where you're at. But a lot of the artists here did like Facebook shows, Facebook live shows.
Mhm.
Do you ever consider doing any of those?
Yeah, so I did, most of my following comes from, like, Instagram or TikTok, so I did a
Mhm.
bunch of live streams off of Instagram, live streams off of, TikTok and stuff. Yeah, I did a bunch of those, but I mean, nothing compares to actually getting to go
Yeah,
and, be in person.
right.
But I did, there was a point where you could go to a venue, but nobody could be there. So I was in a global live stream event with like super high tech cameras and lights and
Mhm.
everything. And you could buy
Oh,
tickets. It'd be, live streamed around the world. And I got to do that, which was kind of the closest thing to performing in front of a crowd at the time. So that was really cool and pretty fun. But yeah, nothing compares to the real thing for sure.
right. Oh, absolutely. So when you play out, do you play with a full band or do you do acoustic? What are the majority of your shows when you can go out and play?
So right now I've been doing acoustic shows. In the past, I've, performed with a backing band and like bands, that were just there to help me with my songs. I've mostly stuck to acoustic, but as of I think actually today is when I got the confirmation. I do have a bunch of amazing, amazing guys who are going to be backing me up for an EP release that I'm having in April on my birthday. Hoping that lockdown, ends and everything goes back to normal by then. But yeah, so I am going to be having a band and hopefully, getting to go around Ontario or Canada with them as soon as COVID is, slowed down.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
awesome. So now another question that I have, because I was back again, I'm looking at your accolades here that you have. Do you do a lot of fairs and festivals when they do those, when things are to where, and I hate to keep saying that. I wish this stuff would just go away so we could all live our lives again.
Yeah.
But do you do a lot of fairs and festivals?
Yeah, so I used to do well, I guess, because of COVID, I used to do a lot more. But yeah, I
Right.
mean, for me, it wasn't about like actually, being in the competition or winning or anything. I just wanted a place to perform. And so
Mhm.
with it just being me and my guitar, like a fair or something was the perfect place to, go do an acoustic song or whatever just to get people to hear my music. And it was mostly just for me networking so that more people heard me. And it was like the judges at these places, you never know what connections they have, if they really liked me, what they could do. So I would do
Right.
those things in hopes of, getting discovered in some sort of way, not really
Right.
to just go and say, "Oh, I need to win this competition," or whatever. But
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I mean, going back to Spotify for a second, because and I quite honestly, again, I'm a little over the hill, and as a matter of fact, I'm creeping up on the second one. But you have on Now I'm Drunk, you've got like 200,000 plus streams.
Yeah, that is thanks to TikTok catching
Mhm.
on to the song and playing it, and, it's actually I always thought that Spotify would have more streams than Apple Music. I don't know why. I just thought, most people would use Spotify. But,
Right.
on Apple Music right now, Now I'm Drunk is almost at 300K, which means that song is almost at 500,000 streams, which for me is, like, absolutely insane. So
Right. Right. I mean, and now, do you have it on any other of the streaming platforms like um I can't even remember some of them
I
now.
have I
Pandora.
have it on Apple Music, or not
Mhm.
Apple Music, sorry, we just said Amazon Music.
Okay.
Um, and something called Deezer, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Here, like, the main ones that we use are Apple and Spotify, so it
Right.
is on a few others, but, like, even just accessing the information, I'm not even sure how to, get onto those ones.
Okay.
So, I mean, surprise, I could secretly have a million streams on there. I'm not sure at all.
Right. So
Mhm.
so you've got it on Deezer and you got it on Apple and Spotify and
Yeah, and
what about
Amazon.
Pandora? Are you on that one and Amazon?
Pandora. I'm not sure. I had somebody ask me about Pandora, but I don't think we
Mm,
use that here because 'cause I've never heard of it before.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, and I'm trying to think of some of the others, that are like that, but those are kind of the main ones that I see artists use are Deezer and Pandora, and I don't see that many use Amazon Music. It's mostly Pandora, Deezer, Spotify, and Apple on iTunes.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and it's so, I mean, and the thing is, like, I guess it's because the population is so split as far as who uses, what um, iOS on their, do they have an Apple phone? Do they have an Android phone? If you have an
Yeah.
Apple, it's, or an iPhone, then it's generally, iTunes comes with that, or it's a, you know, some
Mhm.
connection. It may not come with it for free, but then Android, you've got Spotify, and that's kind of where people like me, I'm an Android user,
Oh,
and
okay.
we get, I get most of my music from Spotify.
Mhm.
But and this is kind of an odd question to ask you because of your age, because I've talked to other artists that are, not not ex, like 20 years older or anything, but they may be up to 10 years older than you are, or maybe a little bit more. But they've seen the change in social media from, what started out as, and I'm about to date myself beyond belief, and you'll probably go, I don't know what you're talking about. But there was a platform that first came out that was called MySpace, and that
Yes.
was kind of like the precursor to Facebook, and then Facebook came along, and then Instagram, and now you got TikTok. Have you noticed? I mean, you're like Facebook and Instagram compared to TikTok, since it's the newest of the platforms. How do those two compare to that one and the people that follow you and keep up with you?
Yeah, so TikTok is probably the craziest invention that they've made, or the craziest app that they have made for phones. Um, I mean, my following on TikTok is a lot bigger than on any other platform. And I
Mhm.
remember my mom had told me, like, for the longest time, she said, Nayana, you need to post videos on TikTok and be annoying, like music videos, be very annoying, and then, you'll blow up, like, then you'll make it. And I was like, Mom, like, people will bully me if I post TikTok videos like this, like, I can't do it, like, because it wasn't the coolest thing for, especially, like, I'm a little too old for TikTok, you could say, but then again, it ranges, every age.
Right.
But I mean, I started to try to be annoying on TikTok, and it was my 3rd video that I posted using the song "Now I'm Drunk" that, I mean, caught on, and now there's, like, 8,000 people that have used my song in a video. But, I mean, yeah, it's completely changed the way, like, music works and everything. Because I
Oh, yeah.
remember you used to, if you wanted a record deal, you could go to the record label and, say, "Hi, I want a record deal. Here's my press kit here," And
Right.
now it's like, you need to almost be big on social media,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they'll just come to you. You know what I mean? And, like,
Yeah.
TikTok has just given everyone a platform to have a chance to just blow up and get discovered. Like, do you know, Robin, I don't wanna mess up her name, Robin Ottolini? She's
Yes.
Canadian.
Yes.
Okay, so she did the song, F-150, and I
Mhm.
mean, she is Canadian, right?
Right. Right.
I'm pretty sure she is, and, anyway, like, she that song blew up, and she just continuously posted more and more and more videos, which is basically I'm kind of following in her footsteps, trying to make the same thing
Right.
happen. But I mean, everyone loved it on TikTok. She got picked up by Warner Music, I think it was, and she's set now. Like, she gets to
Yeah.
create music videos and do kind of everything she wants to do. Like, and it's all from her song blowing up on TikTok. So
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I know, like, with Canadian radio, I know it's different than radio in the US, because in Canada, the radio stations are required to play, and I think the percentage is around 60% Canadian artists, and
yeah,
then
I'm
they
not
can
sure
put
what
in.
it is for sure, but there's
Yeah.
definitely some percentage there.
Yeah, and it's a really high percentage, and then you can
Mhm.
put in, like, whatever you have left over, you can put in, like the US artists and stuff. So, like the Morgan Wallens, and I'm just trying to think of some of the newer artists, Lainey Wilson,
Mhm.
also Ashley McBride, Miranda, Blake, Luke, Jason, Luke Combs, all the normals that that people listen to that I'm aware of. But
Mhm.
then up in Canada, like, I was coming home tonight, and I had it on my Sirius, and I was listening to the CBC Country, and this band Nice Horses came on with a song Cowgirl. Um, I don't know a thing about them, hadn't heard of them. But then there were some more before, and the music is so. I mean, even though there's such a push in Canada to stick with their national artist, that are Canadian. Um,
Wait, sorry, you just glitched out, like, the last, like, probably 10 seconds, just the last 10 seconds.
okay, am I still there?
Yeah, you're back
Uh,
now, you're back now.
okay. Somebody actually, this is from you. I'm guessing it's 33 and a third is Canadian content. on Canadian
Oh,
radio.
that
So,
yeah, that's not actually me.
yeah.
That's probably Jason, the label
So
owner.
yeah, I started to say that's somebody that's
Yeah.
that's running your socials, and I thought it was much higher than that. For some reason, I thought it was like 60%.
You know, I
But
thought it was higher too, but I mean, when I
yeah,
listen to it, I do hear a lot of, the American artists.
right now I know with the CBC Country on Sirius, I don't hear any U.S. artists at all. I don't hear like Morgan Wallen or any of them on here.
Mhm.
I hear like Dallas Smith and I'm only naming off some that I know, and forgive me because I don't know a lot of them. There's oh gosh, what is her name? That I hate that. I know she's from Canada because
Is
when I
it
play her,
Mackenzie Porter?
no, Mackenzie actually has she's got the song out with Dustin Lynch.
Yeah, she's
Deep and
doing
Not Even.
real well.
Yeah. There's another young lady, and golly, what is her name? And that makes me mad because I play the song on the radio,
Oh,
but I
okay.
can't remember her name. But she's Canadian, and but the music is so in line. So I mean, it's not like there's a difference in the sound of Canadian artists and U.S. artists.
Yeah.
Um, and that's um, uh, yeah, Tennille Towns, that's who it is.
Ah, yes, I love her.
Yeah, I think, and Jason actually, if it's Jason, actually put Twinkle Towns, but
Yeah, that's Jason. Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
if that was an error or what that was. Tennille Towns, there
It's
you go.
gotta be a
Okay, now we're
typo.
right.
Yeah,
Now
it's
we're right.
it's a typo.
So we're back on track now.
Mhm.
But that was kind of funny. I thought maybe that was a Canadian nickname for her was Twinkle Towns. That was awesome.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
but so autocorrect happens every time.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you okay, before I get to that question, let me go back because I'm missing a couple here that I really want to ask you.
Okay.
Uh, First off, if you could go back to your 11-year-old self
Mhm.
and tell your thing, one thing that you have learned in the 8, 9 years that you've been doing your thing, um, what or anything at all, what is one thing that you would tell your younger self?
Oh, that is a good question. Um, Honestly, I would probably tell myself to, in a way, start believing in yourself sooner because I only really fully started, pushing as hard as I could and believing I could make it after I had won this competition and started working with Jason. And, he would tell me, like,
Mhm,
you have something special, like, we can do this, like, I believe in you. But I feel like if I would have believed in myself sooner, because I always wanted to do this and, I always, tried a little bit, but I never really gave it everything I had because I thought, it's not likely I'll make it. So I feel like
mhm.
if I really would have started pushing sooner and even, finding a way to actually release music sooner, it might have helped more. But I mean, it's never too late to start, that's for sure. Even things like posting videos online or on TikTok, it's never too late. I just kind of wish maybe I would have started a little sooner. But yeah, just don't give up, believe in yourself, and, work hard every day.
So you get to that point and uh, you brought this up earlier when you were talking about TikTok and your mom encouraging you to post things, and you said, I don't want to do that because people will start hating on me and stuff like that. And the sad part about that is it is true. I
Oh
mean, it's
yeah.
very true. You you cannot be an artist today unless people bash you. I mean, you're always going to have those haters, the
Mhm.
people that just for whatever reason their life is so miserable they can't stand it unless they make somebody else's life miserable is the way I look at it. Okay? I'm not going to get on the soapbox and preach, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Um but what do you say to those people when they do that kind of thing? Do you respond to them? Do you let it go and just say, you're not worth me you're not worth my time. Um, or, some people will encourage them to, hey, maybe be a little nicer or something like that. I mean, how do you react to those haters that are out there?
Yeah, so most of the time, like, I just completely ignore it, especially when it's something online, like a comment. Um,
Mhm.
those things, you can't really take them to heart because it's a comment of someone that you probably don't know, and,
Right.
they're hiding behind a screen, so those ones usually ignore. Sometimes if someone comments something that's just, you know, on another level of, like, it doesn't even hurt me because it just makes no sense or it's just ridiculous.
Right.
Sometimes I'll,
Right.
do a little reply. Like, I remember someone told me, like, "Leave the singing to Taylor Swift," or something like that, and so I had made a video replying to her with my song in it at the part that said, "I'll be playing this old guitar, on every stage and every bar," and then I sang, "Singing about how you broke my heart," telling that girl that she
Right.
broke my heart, and, like, I used it to get more views so more people would listen to the song, like, just something like that, and then everyone would comment, "Oh my gosh, like, I love this song," or "Don't give up," just to it just kinda brings people together and, shows, like, who supports you and just
Right.
honestly brings more popularity to, what I want people to see, so sometimes I'll not entertain it, but use it to my advantage, I guess.
Right. Right. Well, and we'll give you kudos for that one.
Thank you.
So, but now you've got, and I keep saying this because I mean, you've got an impressive list of accolades.
Thank
So
you.
the day comes where you get approached by an artist who is doing a stadium tour. And they're touring in the US and they're touring in Canada. They're going all over, even the world. I mean, let's just stretch it out there. It's a worldwide tour.
Mhm.
And they have come to you and they've said, Nayana, I want to take you on tour with me, or we want to. It could be a group, it could be a solo artist.
Mhm.
Who would that artist be for you?
Well, I know you're probably thinking I would say Taylor Swift, but because, she's pop now, alternative, but I honestly it would have to be Morgan Wallen. I mean, I his songwriting skills, I mean, I wrote a song about how much I love his songs. Um, I just think I don't know, even it would be a really good match, especially just with the song that I have, and I mean, that's just something I couldn't pass up, like, oh, I think about it all the time, honestly. My mom and
Mhm.
my mom's trying to get me noticed by him, so he'll bring me up on stage one day, like,
Right.
anything like that, but, yeah, it would definitely be Morgan Wallen.
The one thing that is bad about, and Morgan, I know you're a faithful listener and I know you watch a lot. I wish. He is a good guy though, he really is. Um, he hasn't really done anything that's a duet with a female, or even like the new one, Flower Shop, that he does with Ernest that he's got out now. They have duets on TikTok, and those are a good way for a lot of those artists to recognize you if you do that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. But he doesn't have like kind of like the Mackenzie Porter, Dustin Lynch, thinking about you. There's not something where you can sing Mackenzie's part to Dustin doing his part type of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's always I mean, I've got friends that have gotten noticed by artists just by singing their song that wasn't even a duet to start with.
Yeah.
A female friend of mine is going out on tour with, well, I'll say his name. I don't mind, and I'm sure she doesn't mind either. But she's going out on tour with Tim McGraw, and the way that she got it was just singing like a couple of his songs on TikTok and him
Yeah.
watching them, you know,
That's
and
what
that
you
kind of,
gotta do.
yeah.
Gotta bring
So
it to
it can
TikTok.
happen. That's right. You got to take it to the masses, which now is TikTok. And
Mhm.
like you were saying earlier, and this is so funny because used to, that's the way you had to get noticed on Music Row, was walk up and down Music Row in Nashville and hand out tapes, knock on doors and present yourself to them, or you would, then email came along and you could email it all to them. And now they all have departments that they specifically watch social media for new
Mhm.
artists.
Yep.
And it's like, we've, and I mean, just gotten to that point. I even saw the other day where and I don't remember his name, but he started a company that is artist development, management, and things like that, strictly for TikTok. He's already discovered
Oh,
3 TikTok artists. One of them is Priscilla Block, who's hit it pretty
oh
big.
yeah, yeah.
And then he's managed an artist named Logan Mize for like 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. And so I mean, he's really kind of clued into that. So
Mhm.
it's like TikTok is basically the new Music Row.
Yeah,
What I
which
believe.
is insane if you think about how many people there are, trying to make it on TikTok and
Mhm.
singing on there. Like it's
Yeah.
endless. You could scroll forever on there and see a new singer every single time.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I scroll through TikTok a lot. I shouldn't say troll. Um, but I'm always looking for, artists to bring onto the podcast. And like we said, that's how I came across you. And then, just get to following and listening and enjoying your music. So it's not just to sign a record deal, it's any kind of basic, I guess you would say, promotion, you
Yeah,
know?
well, exactly, like and it's amazing, like, I was even thinking I mean, my mind did go straight to TikTok, but when you reached out, I just like, how ironic that, I'm here in Ottawa, Canada. You probably
Mhm.
don't even know anything about it other than your couple friends here, and you found me from the United States, like, it's just
Yeah.
crazy, like, all the opportunities that can come from it. I remember my very first experience I had clicked on, someone's live stream and I heard they were
Mhm.
playing country music in the background as he was talking. And I commented on it, hey, can you play this song called Pretty Good to Be Here? And he was like, oh, sure, I'll play it. He starts playing it, not knowing that it's me. And then I commented, like, oh, yeah, like, this is my song. And then he thought I was famous. He was like, "Oh my god!" And it was funny because at the time I had like 2 followers. And so he went on, like, his account, he has, like, 1,000,000 followers, posted, "This girl came on my live," like, whatever. So just any connection, like, however small or, you might think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
insignificant, like, people are watching and it matters. Everything matters on there. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's just like, and do they I hate being in 2 different countries and not knowing how they work. But like Nashville, they do writer rounds a lot where, you'll have 3 or 4 writers of songs that are up on stage, and they'll have an acoustic guitar and they'll tell the story behind their song and they'll play their song and that kind of thing. Do you guys
Mhm.
have some of those things up in Canada? Do you when
No,
yeah,
we don't really have I mean, at least, like, where I'm from, we do not
mhm,
have anything that I would say is even really comparable to Nashville.
mhm,
Um, I've heard some people have told me, I mean, in the past 2 years that I've been getting out there more, they've told me about things that they've done in the past, and I think Toronto, with, like, different listening rooms and a bunch of artists coming together, but again, that was before COVID, you know what I mean? So
right,
there's I think I mean, going to Nashville would definitely be quite an experience and, like, a helpful
mhm.
step, I feel like. So I definitely need to get out there soon because
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
nothing comparable here, no.
oh, no, and like at the writer rounds, you never know who's in the audience. It could be the head
Mhm,
of a label, it could be the head of the label that Taylor Swift was once with, whom she's not with anymore.
mhm,
Um, but it could be any number of people out there that could take you from where you're at to, 1 step or 10 steps closer to where you wanna be,
yeah.
you know? And so it's really neat, but that's a good thing about TikTok and the way that they're doing it, because it does give them more access to artists such as yourself who are from Canada. I mean, I've interviewed other artists from Canada. Alicia Eichel is one that I've
Okay.
interviewed from up there. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure if it's from looking through your your account there or if
okay.
just knowing her from the music scene, but I definitely do know the name.
Yeah, she's from Canada, but I've interviewed from Canada. I've interviewed artists from the Netherlands and Norway, and I haven't got into anybody from like the UK yet, but I do know some. have a couple I've got one from Australia that I've tried to get on, but it's just the time difference is
Oh yeah,
so weird, you know,
it's a little
and
bigger than our
yeah,
1 hour difference.
right, right. I don't even know what the time difference is. I just know at some point in Australia, I'm sleeping while they're out doing work. And so, you know,
Yeah,
somebody's going to be up late, either them or me. I just don't know which one, or early, depending on how you look at it.
yeah.
So from here, and because of the shutdown, I mean, I went through and looked, and of course, you haven't been able to do any shows per se since July of 2019.
I was able to do. We would have like these 3-week spans where like restaurants would open up. You just have to wear a mask inside. So every time that's happened, I actually have been able to get out and do a bunch of shows, just, opening for other local artists or having my own or I got to do something on the beach near my house. Like not a real beach, it's just a little a little Canadian beach. but where I would play every week and everyone would come out and it was outdoors, so it was all safe. So I actually have been able to, because I like every moment that we haven't been in a lockdown, I've just been
Mhm.
soaking it up, and then we go right back into lockdown. So
Right, right,
yeah,
right. Just about the time you think, oh, it's going to bust wide open. It's like, nope, not going to happen.
yeah,
Um, so you talked about doing something in April,
yes,
for around your birthday, doing was it EP release? Is that
yes,
right? Okay.
mhm,
And depending on the climate of the health situation in the world, we'll put it that way. I don't
mhm.
even like to say the word. I mean, that's
I
how
know.
bad I can't stand it, because it's just disrupted everything. But because of that, hopefully that will give you an opportunity to get out and to do more and play more. I mean, would really love to see you get an opportunity to come down to Nashville. I
Yes,
know right now they're not even, I mean, you're not even allowed to fly out of the country, I don't think.
yeah, it's
Um,
very strict. You got it. Like
right,
even coming back, it's very strict, and there's always the you might not be able to get back in if you leave. So
right, right. So,
yeah,
so
that's what they
you
tell
might
us.
want to know somebody that's got a spare bedroom just in case.
Yeah.
Be a lot cheaper than trying to stay at a hotel for who knows how long. But at some point, you know, hopefully you'll get down to Nashville.
Mhm.
I'm the US is a little bit more open right now, and I'm going to be there in February for a big conference that they have every year for radio, and that's about a week long. So it's you know, and that's one of those times where somebody like you, it's a great time because there's so many people, radio people, you know, US radio people,
Yeah.
and you know, executives and even artists just
Mhm.
walking around. You know, you go
Yeah.
down to Old Red downtown. Blake Shelton's probably going to pop up on stage there
Oh,
during that
yeah.
week,
It's crazy.
um, because he's one of the featured speakers that week. So he's probably going to be on stage.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. What
you
what's
know,
the exact date of this? Just in case I can sneak across.
it is. It's February 20. I'm trying to make sure I got the dates right. Um, because I think we're going to be there the 22nd through the 27th. So it's like the 23rd through the 25th or 26th.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a
Got it.
big it's 3 days. It goes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And like I said, there's people walking around and, you know,
Yeah.
I've seen all kinds of artists down there, Kelsey Ballerini and um, Carly Pierce, and ran into Michael Ray coming in the doorway of the hotel, you
Yeah, like,
know, and
see, for me, that's, like, unimaginable. Like, I
right.
can't even really picture it. Seriously, that would be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just a fun time, and you know, it's something that I don't know if the Canadian artists come down for that? I mean, I'm sure like Tennille Towns and Mackenzie Porter are probably going to be down here if they are not, if they're in the States already. I don't know their
Yeah.
residency. I don't know if they're in Canada mainly or if they're down here, but
Oh, I'm sure most of the Canadians that are doing well are down in Nashville probably already, probably living
right.
there now.
And one more thing I wanted to mention before we go, because we're, this back to the accolades. All right. So, all you folks, you're going to have to get a pen and write this down because I was going to do a quick little banner to put up for it. And right now, my mouse is not cooperating with me to where I can do it. But I'm going to
Okay.
hide real quick. I'm going to edit your website and I'm going to put this new one in as I'm talking about it because Nayana has actually been nominated, okay, for not one, not two, but three Ottawa Awards. Now, this is pretty big because she's been nominated for Artist of the Year. She's been nominated for Song of the Year for Now I'm Drunk and Country Artist of the Year. And this is through Faces Magazine. Now, Faces Magazine, tell me a little bit about that. What exactly is that, like a local Ottawa type thing?
Yeah, so I don't wanna give false information, but I'm pretty sure it's the one of the biggest magazines out of Ottawa. I mean, if you look
Mhm.
at their following on social media, you'll see, I don't think it gets much bigger than that in Ottawa, but, yeah, so every year they do the Ottawa Awards, and it's just, to, I guess, show appreciation for, the local talent and everything. So I've never been nominated or anything before, so I'm really excited that this year I was nominated in 3 categories. And then, if you look through, there's some amazing artists nominated. Like here Isabella is nominated in my category. I'm not sure if you know
Yeah,
her, but she's in Nashville. She's been in Nashville for years. She's
right.
she's up there, but I mean just being nominated is an honor. But yeah, if you guys want to vote, I would really appreciate it. It'd be
Right.
super cool to even just get one of them. But yeah, so it's Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, and Country Artist of the Year.
And I put the website up right there below Nayana's picture so that jot that down real quick. It's not a link; you can't click on it. Don't think it's going to take you anywhere, but you can write that down and then go there and vote. And I didn't notice when the voting ended.
Yeah,
Uh,
so you can actually vote for every category once a day, every day until the 31st, and they announce the winners on the 31st as well of January. So we have
okay.
like 1 week left. So if you want to get in there, vote every day. That would really help me out.
So there you go. Go in and vote for Nayana for all these awards. Nayana, I got to say thank you so much for coming on. You have been a great guest, and I wish you all the luck. I mean, I quite honestly, I see your career doing really well as long as you keep doing what you're doing and the way you're doing it because you did it really well with, Now I'm Drunk and just keep that going. I mean, keep that momentum going and don't give people an opportunity to A, forget about you or B, start hating on you,
Yeah.
Um, so you're a wonderful young lady that I see a bright future for. And thank goodness I got you on when I did because I have a feeling if I'd have waited a few more months, probably would have been able to. I'd have had to gone through a publicist and
Oh
all
my
those
god.
people and good grief. Now I've got good friends that are publicists, so I won't talk bad about them. Um,
Oh my
but
goodness.
it's been a joy to have you on. I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was my first like podcast show type of thing. So,
Awesome.
I'm really glad it was with you. I think this went pretty well and I really appreciate you reaching out. And if I end up making it a little bigger, having more success, I'll definitely want to come back on. So, thank you very
Well,
much.
you're welcome anytime. You can just shoot me a message and we'll make it happen. So thanks a lot. Coming up on Thursday night, it's another episode. We got Rob Reiser. He's going to be on, and Rob is another independent country artist that you'll learn more about and become a fan. Hopefully, just like we hope we've made some fans for Nayana tonight. Until Thursday, you guys have a great evening. Take care of yourself. Be safe. And by all means, just, tune in again. We'll see you.
All right. Thank you, George.